Hey, I'm Lou Brutus, and it is a great honor to be joined by the gentleman from Anthrax. From my left to right on the screen, Joey, Frank, and Charlie Scott will be joining us in just a bit. It's really great to see you all. How's everybody holding up?
Just fine, thank you.
Well, thank you. Just chugging along as we all can do. That's what we do now.
I'm hoping this is one of my last Zoom experiences and I start getting to sit down with folks in person, including yourselves, because I'm host for Rockfest in Cadott, Wisconsin. And I think this is the first gig back. So thoughts on that, Joey, if you want to take it first.
Well, it's just good to get out of the house like we were talking earlier. You just want to become a person again out in the world. So just a musician that wants to play finally. It's going to be a good time. Looking forward to it.
Charlie, your thoughts?
Well, I don't know if people are going to be able to see us. It's going to have this real thick plexiglass that's in front of the stage that you can't break into. We can't get spit on or anything like that. I'm joking, of course. No, I think that we're all excited to get back out there and feel that energy from the audience and from ourselves too. It's like, okay, let's go. This is it. This is the first one. Let's make it memorable.
It's too bad you were just kidding, because I was picturing like some sort of logoed Anthrax sneeze guard like you would see at the salad bar,
Yeah.
And Frank, your thoughts about getting back out again?
You know what? The anecdote to that, actually, we're coming out in these big bubbles, so there's no issues anywhere. We'll be fine. So it's all good. Yeah, this is what we do, Lou. You know that. This is what we all do. This is what you do. This is what we do. We go out there and we're in front of people and we mingle. We play. We get in. We entertain. We feel that vibe, that whole thing coming from the stage to the audience. You build this energy together. That's the drug we all love. That's the drug. Right. So I can't wait for it. Look, we'll all be a little dusting off, and we're going to be dusting stuff off that we've had for this past year and a half. But there's nothing like it, man. Just even to look forward, as just speaking about this, Lou, we're able to go play a show. Can you imagine we're saying that? How great is that?
It's like being 6 years old and looking forward to Christmas again. And I see
Right.
Scott has joined us. Scott, we're talking about the first gig back we're all going to be at, which is Rockfest in Cadott, Wisconsin. Listen, you guys are veterans of the stage, and yet do you have any trepidation, like, oh man, we're going to take a song or two to get the rust off?
No,
I'm not worried. I'm not worried.
yeah, no, not at all. I think the excitement of having that crowd out there and just getting to be on stage playing, it's not like we're starting off with a show where we have to do a 2-hour headline set and then do that like 4 or 5 times that week. We just get to show up and kind of do our thing and go home the next day. So I think that's a really good way to jump back in.
Scott, we'll stay on you for just a sec for this next one. And, I ask you guys to forgive me for such an obvious question, but I still think it's a very pertinent question. Does it really feel like 40 years for this band?
Obviously we've been talking about it a lot, doing interviews and stuff. And for me, there's really no way to put that in any kind of context, because if I think about who I was in 1981 when the band started, that's lifetimes. That might as well, you could tell me that was 150 years ago. But at the same time, I have such a great memory for the history of the band. It's almost like, funny enough, ironically enough, it's like I have a hard drive in here with a folder that says Anthrax, and all the information goes in there. And so that's what also, at the same time, it feels like so long ago. It's like I remember everything. So it's so easy for me to access those memories and think about those times, and it feels close. So, time is weird. Sometimes it stretches, sometimes it contracts. And that's the only way I know how to answer that question.
Frank, basically the same thing for you. I mean, how do you wrap your head around this band existing for 40 years?
You know, it's a great question because it's been such a great ride along the way, and such great memories. I grew up in this band at 18 years old. You know, I started at 18. So for me, it's the ride of my life. And I just take it day to day with the band. And looking at these great videos we've done the past month, and just reflecting on all that and say, wow. And I've been saying every time I see these great memories that come out and say, what a great ride this is. It just reminds me of how lucky and fortunate we are. Honestly, I mean, man, this has been a great ride with more to come. That's the great thing about it, Luke. You know, we just talked about the show before. We have more to look forward to, a new record. The whole thing is still more to come. So this whole 40-year thing, and then this. So the stage in next month, that's, you know, it's all cherry on top stuff. So I just embrace it, and I'm thankful. I'm really thankful to the fans, to be honest with you, man.
Charlie, if you could continue to sort of expand on this, the video series and the YouTube stuff, because again, it's got to be gleeful to be reminded of all this stuff, and kind of a walk down memory lane.
Oh yeah, it is a walk down memory lane. I mean, I have, like Scott said, you know, fond memories of our past. And, you know, it's hard for me to put a timestamp on my life, but if I have to look, then all I have to do is just look in some magazines. It's like 1985, man. That's the way I was. That's the way I was looking. That's the way I talked, you know. And a lot of the earlier videos you'll hear are strong New York accents, which of course, since I've lost completely.
I remember, by the way, I remember.
Yeah, well, I don't even remember like having that thick of an accent, but then, wow, all these years later, I listen and I'm like, wow, that's strange, but yeah, you know,
we barely enunciate our words when you see those little interviews. It's just like this blah, 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 just coming out of our mouths.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, if you go to the UK and you go to Newcastle, you know, there's definitely you know, an accent there. So like, if you go to New York, you have the Bronx, Queens, Brooklyn, Staten Island, Long Island. Everyone has a thick accent from those parts too. So, you know, I would say I lost some of it, but it's funny, if I get low, like start drinking a little bit, it comes out more. So it's best to not do interviews when you're drinking. that's what I think.
Joey, if you could join in too, as you try and you know, put all of this history into perspective, what comes to mind?
When I got to meet these guys for the first time, thinking about, I'm going to try to join a band. I don't even know the band or the music in this style or anything, and just see the hard work that we've gone through and all that grind of just trying to develop a band and stay together, you know, for this long. It's so hard for anyone in this business to even kind of stay with the same group like that, and have success and get better actually along the way. Think about it. I mean, that's the coolest thing, that we're striving for better all the time.
That's a good point, because a lot of bands, you know, didn't even last 10 years, didn't even last 5 years. I look at the Beatles, they lasted for 8 years, right? Here we are approaching 40. So, and the best part about us is that I think we rediscovered that you know, that fountain that we can now draw from it, and our last 2 records I thought were some of our best. So looking forward to the future and kicking ass.
I'm gonna use Charlie's math and say that means we're 5 times better than the Beatles.
Yes,
there you go.